Have you ever felt like it's too late to start over? Like the world has moved on and left you behind? If you have, then you need to hear the story of Frank Miller. It's a powerful reminder that it's never too late to reinvent yourself. For 30 long years, Frank Miller's life had a steady rhythm. The alarm at 5 a.m., the drive to the local auto parts factory, the familiar clang of machinery, and the shift whistle that signaled the end of his day. He was a man of routine, a man who believed in honest work for an honest wage. He'd started at the factory right out of high school, and he expected to retire from there. His hands, calloused and strong, knew every bolt, every lever, every inch of the assembly line. He was proud of his work, proud of the life he'd built for his family, brick by brick, paycheck by paycheck. Life was simple, predictable, and secure, or so he thought. The rumors started as whispers, then grew into a roar of anxiety that swept through the factory floor. They're downsizing, someone would say, moving operations overseas. Another would add, Frank tried to ignore it. He'd given this company his entire adult life. Surely they wouldn't just cast him aside. But one Tuesday afternoon, the dreaded announcement came. The factory was closing. In 3 months, the gates would be locked for good. Just like that, at 50 years old, the only world Frank had ever known was about to vanish. The initial shock was like a physical blow. Panic set in. 50 years old. Who would hire a 50-year-old factory worker with no other skills? His entire identity was tied to that plant. He wasn't just Frank Miller. He was Frank Miller from the factory. He felt lost, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. His friends, men he'd worked alongside for decades, were just as scared. Some talked about early retirement, others just stared into space, defeated. For a few weeks, Frank felt that despair creeping in. He'd look at his hands and see nothing but obsolete tools. But Frank was a builder. He had spent his life putting things together. He couldn't just sit there and watch his own life fall apart. One morning, instead of wallowing in front of the TV, he took a walk. He walked past the local community center and saw a flyer on the bulletin board. Free introductory course, basic carpentry. He'd always enjoyed tinkering with wood in his garage, fixing a chair here, building a small shelf there. It was a hobby, nothing more. But now that small hobby felt like a tiny flicker of light in the darkness. He had nothing to lose. So he signed up. The first class was intimidating. He was surrounded by younger people, all quick and eager. He felt clumsy, his hands more used to metal than wood, but he showed up day after day. He was the first to arrive and the last to leave it. He listened intently, he practiced tirelessly, and he asked questions, never too proud to admit what he didn't know. The instructor, a seasoned carpenter named Dave, noticed Frank's quiet determination. He saw the focus in his eyes and the steady precision in his work. Frank wasn't just learning, he was mastering. The same dedication he'd given to the factory, he now poured into this new craft. After finishing the course, Frank didn't stop. He used his severance pay not for a vacation, but to buy a set of professional tools. He started small, taking on odd jobs for neighbors. A wobbly deck, a squeaky door, a custom bookshelf. His work was meticulous, his prices fair. Word of Frank the carpenter started to spread. People admired his reliability and the old-school work ethic he brought to every project. He wasn't just fixing things, he was building relationships, earning trust one nail at a time. Within 2 years, Frank's small side jobs had grown into a full-fledged business. He had a waiting list of clients. He even hired a young apprentice, passing on the skills he had so painstakingly learned. He was 53 years old, working harder than ever, but he had never felt more alive. He was no longer Frank Miller from the factory. He was Frank Miller, the craftsman, the man who built his own second chance. Frank's story isn't about becoming a millionaire overnight. It's about something much more valuable. It's about the power of perseverance. It's about understanding that your worth isn't tied to a single job or a single path. Life can throw you a curveball that shatters everything you thought was permanent. But within you lies the strength to pick up the pieces and build something new, something that is truly your own. It might not be easy, and it won't happen overnight. But honest work and a refusal to give up can open doors you never knew existed. So if you're facing an unexpected ending, remember Frank Miller. Your next beginning might be just one small step away. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that inspire.